Hello guys, so today I'm going to do another rushed one. I've got a lot of stuff to get done. I just came back from vacation or holiday or however the Americans are supposed to say things. And yeah, no, it was tons of fun. I've got some videos that I need to edit for people I will not be naming because their security and that kind of stuff is not as good as mine, so by naming them, I'd be inadvertently giving information about myself away. So yeah, I'd rather just like to keep that not there. But I would like to give my opinion on a few of the things that have happened in the past 2 or 3 weeks. GTA 6 was leaked. Everyone's like, oh, wow, GTA. You either one of two. It's a very polarizing topic in the gaming industry, which is the most funny thing to say when we're going through a recession. Yeah, you're either on one of two sides. Yeah, it's not very appealing. It's not such a good looking game, or it's going to be the best game of all time. You just wait. It's not finished yet. I'm not on either side. I haven't played a GTA game at all. I don't really care. And it doesn't look amazing. And I know how video games look before they're released. They're not. The way it looks now has nothing to do with the way it's going to look. This is a really basic version of it. But GTA fans will understand a lot more than I will, because I have no clue what's going on. The 4090 isn't looking so hot. Well, it is looking very hot, just not hot in the right way. It seems like it's going to be taking a lot of power, and it's going to be taking that power through a power connector, which will not be able to handle that power. Meaning power connectors have been melted because people took them out and plugged them in like 30-ish times. And for some people who buy a pre-built computer and then never touch the computer ever again, well, yeah, that's 30 times is 30 more times than what I was actually going to do that. For me, I would like to be able to take out my stuff and put in my stuff as much as I want. I switch hard drives and SSDs almost on a daily basis. And obviously I don't switch GPUs all that much, but I think I've done at least off the top of my head, probably 17 plug in and out on my GPU, and I move cables and stuff a lot. And if that would make a difference to my GPU's power connector and maybe be a fire hazard, that's not good. So that's the 4090. There's a 4080 12 gig and a 4080 16 gig. Or, I mean, I don't really care what gigs they are. The issue is that the actual die, and I don't know if those numbers are correct. I'm sure there was a 12 gig, and it's a 16 or an 18 or however many. But the actual GPU die is different in between them. So the name is not a very, the name doesn't describe what's inside the box. It isn't a 4080 in both of the things. If by what you meant is a 4080, and then you take that 4080 and add a little bit more VRAM, is the more VRAM one. The more VRAM one has more CUDA cores, more all of that kind of stuff as well. So that's not and from what I can tell, they're not advertising that on the box saying, we've got more VRAM and more CUDA cores. It's just not very genuine, not a very nice thing to do.
Yeah, so it's never good when a company deceives you, but this is Future Jojum, and it seems like we might actually have a W from this story. NVIDIA heard all of our cries and sarcastically gave us a half-decent answer. So, well, not really sarcastically, but, well, let me just read it for you guys. The 4080 12 gig is a fantastic graphics card, but it is not named right. Yes, that is exactly what I've been saying. Having two GPUs with the 4080 designation is confusing. That is not true. If it was confusing, they wouldn't have two 3060s with different VRAM. But the difference between that is that the two 3060s don't have differences in like the actual chip. It's just the VRAM. So we're pushing the unlaunch button, and I'm going to get to the interesting bits of what unlaunching something means on the 4080 12 gig. The 4080 16 gig is amazing and on track to delight gamers everywhere on November 16th. If the lines around the block and enthusiasm for 4090 is any indication, the reception for 4080 will be awesome. So this is the classic massive corporation NVIDIA that we've all grown to love, and no, none of us love them. Not even EVGA. Like I said, EVGA is leaving. This is ridiculous. You can't take something you did wrong and turn that into a PR stunt. Except you can, if your name is NVIDIA, apparently. So yeah, this is hilarious. But also, the unlaunch button doesn't exist. After like a few months into the process, you already have a lot of R&D sunk into it, meaning you figured out how to power the cards, you figured out all of these kinds of things. And then by the time you announce something, that means you have thousands of that card already ready to ship. Meaning, well, where are those cards going? What's happening to the cards that they already made? What's happening to the cards that they sent to the board partners? And it seems like I read a title about the board partners being NVIDIA giving them cash back because, well, the board partners can't sell it because it doesn't exist. But imagine if they end up selling these as like 4070 12 gigs. That would be absolutely insane. You would be getting a 4080 12 gig worth of performance, like not really, but from generational improvement, it should have been good enough to be called a 4080. So you're getting that kind of performance for 4070 price. That sounds like a crazy deal to me. So that is a dub, but NVIDIA can't just turn this around and be like, yeah, well, we meant for this to happen.
From NVIDIA, EVGA is no longer working with NVIDIA, so no 40 cards will be coming out with EVGA versions of them, which sucks, but is also cool because I would love to see EVGA Radeon cards, so like AMD EVGA cards. But yeah, EVGA was always an amazing GPU company, and from what I can tell, almost half or even more than half of their items that they sold were GPUs. So more than me, more people than I am, like one person, cared about EVGA GPUs, and Kingpin was epic and all that kind of stuff. I was never fortunate enough to have enough money to care what brand of GPU I had. It was more about the speed and the performance, but EVGA did very well, and I really liked their stuff. The way they looked and all that kind of stuff was pretty cool. And it's sad to see that they're moving out of the GPU market. But like I said, I hope to see them in doing AMD cards. And yeah. And then also, I was doing a bit of looking around for CPUs, motherboards, and RAM. And it seems like Intel's going to be the budget, or not necessarily the budget, but also the budget, but like the price to performance king next time round. Not because of the CPU price, but because of the motherboard and RAM price. Because when you get a CPU, you need a motherboard and you need RAM. So if anyone's buying a brand new AMD CPU that's coming off the line right now, you're going to need a brand spanking new motherboard. And if you're using AMD, you're going to need brand new RAM as well, because they've got DDR5. If you already have a DDR5 platform, you probably should not be upgrading your motherboard. In any case, you should probably just get the CPU that works on that motherboard. But AM5 motherboards are friggin' expensive. From what I can tell, they start at $250. Although I'm pretty sure they're going to go down in price. There's going to be some cheaper ones coming out. But right now, you should probably just wait until things get cheaper, especially if you're going for bang for the buck. If you're going for absolute speed, just check the benchmarks. Like, price doesn't mean anything to you. Okay, so that's most of the tech news out of the way from what I can tell, except for the fact that Chrome seems to be stopping the ad blocking that's happening. This is more a software thing, not a hardware thing, but Chrome seems to be moving to a system where ad blockers can only block I think they said 3,000 different URLs, which if you use ad blockers, that's how that works. It blocks all of the ads URLs. And if it only blocks 3,000 addresses, ad blockers block hundreds of thousands of addresses. So that's not enough, not nearly enough for ad blockers, even though uBlock Origin apparently says something along the lines of, we will still be able to work around that, but they probably won't. Here's another big win for Firefox, the amazing open source alternative to Google Chrome. Even though Chromium's technically open source, everything runs on Chrome, and therefore all of the malware in that is built for Chrome as well. So Firefox is just the alternative that isn't as well used, like the path that hasn't been as well treaded. But that also means it has less funding, all of that kind of stuff. I'm not going to get into that. Twitch has changed the rates going for the creators. The creators are going to be earning less now. I think it's about 30-70. I didn't care because I don't stream on Twitch. But that's not fun. That's not a win for Twitch streamers in any way, shape, or form. And I just wanted to bring up the fact that one revenue source is always going to be a bad idea, especially when that revenue source chooses how much it wants to pay you. If you're on a contract with a job and they're saying, well, we'll pay you $15 an hour, and that's a legally binding contract, and I can go to court and I can say, hey, this guy said he'd pay me $15 an hour. He decided 2 days later that he's going to start paying me $3 an hour. I can go to court for that. You can't go to court for Twitch, who isn't giving you a contract, by the way, changing how much money you get. And then also the fact that that money comes from somewhere, your viewers. So if you are a Twitch streamer and you do that full time, and you don't run some sort of affiliate program where it's like you're getting money from people buying affiliate would more be like buying stuff through your links and stuff, or running your own store where they're buying your merch, or running a website like Chronicle does. You should probably be on at least more than one website as well. So Twitch and YouTube. If you're running a Twitch stream, you should be making VODs for YouTube as well. You need a lot of revenue streams to keep yourself alive, because tomorrow Twitch could decide you guys are working for free now. So if any of this was a shock to anyone, that's a wake up call, honestly. And then YouTube Shorts have come out with a revenue stream as well. I believe that's 60-40 splits from what I remember, which is even better than Twitch's split, by the way. But there's a really fancy way they're doing this, and copyrighted music gets less money because the money's first going to the copyright holder, and then after the copyright holder has their cut, then it gets spread between the 5 or so people that was in between 2 ads or whatever, which is a really cool system. I didn't think they would be monetizing shorts whatsoever. I thought they'd be more than happy to get the TikTokers to come here and do exactly what they do and get paid exactly what they get paid on TikTok, because they get paid nothing on TikTok. So if they start paying handsomely enough, I could see lots of TikTokers just moving to YouTube Shorts to get paid, honestly, and then asking their viewers to move to them, and maybe having both a TikTok and a YouTube, and then on their TikTok saying, please watch it on YouTube. I get money from YouTube and I don't get money from TikTok. Or or a system with like garbage time, he moved to Floatplane because Twitch wasn't paying him. Again, really watch out who's feeding you. I'm not saying to bite the hand that feeds you, but make sure that the hand that feeds you doesn't close because we all need food to survive. And Dream had a face reveal. Yeah, I don't care. I'm not a Dream stan. I don't follow Dream very closely. It is very memeable though. Well, I'm not going to make jokes about people's appearances. But yeah, no. So that's been big news apparently because he hasn't face revealed in ages. I don't know if he wanted to do it like this. I believe he wanted to do it, if I remember correctly, from other people saying other things in the Dream SMP, which could all be jokes, honestly. I believe he wanted to do it at an event, and go to the event as himself, and then be like, "Oh, hi, I'm Dream, by the way," and then that would be his face reveal, from what I could understand. If anyone knows better than me, which most of you probably do, yell at me in the comments. But yeah, no, I think that's how he wanted to do it. And just from pure speculation from a person who knows nothing about the subject, I'd assume that this might have something to do with his girlfriend, his ex-girlfriend actually, had been threatening to leak lots of information about him, including his face. And therefore, well, I mean, there's some mental issues there, and I don't want to get into all of the weeds of that, but yeah, so maybe she threatened to do it, and for real this time, and he wanted to get this out quickly. I could tell that it was very unpolished of a video and all that kind of stuff. It looks like it came out within an hour, like all of my videos as of recently. So yeah, it doesn't feel as polished as most of Dream's videos, and I mean, he doesn't do vlogs and stuff, but like Tommy's vlogs, even his earlier vlogs, feel slightly more polished than this. And he wasn't a vlogger, he was a Dream SMP enjoyer. So I think that this might, just speculation completely. It's not like I don't have any evidence for this, but just going off of the fact that it was very unpolished, it seems like something that he would have done to kind of get ahead of the leaks, you know what I'm saying? Maybe there was somebody else who was going to leak it. I don't know. But that's just my thinking. And then my heart goes out to the people at the hurricane, the Ian hurricane. My vacation did happen to take place near a place that was affected by the Ian hurricane. I'm not going to go into any of the specifics, but yeah, it's pretty hectic. I couldn't even imagine something like that happening to me. Even at the time, people were telling me, you guys have to watch out, and I was like, sure, whatever. But I can't imagine a natural disaster happening and actually harming me, because I've lived through a quite significant earthquake back in South Africa, and I think I was pretty scared at the time, but like it feels surreal to go back to it. It feels like a dream. I don't understand, and it's not like it wasn't scary for me, like very scary. I wasn't freaking out or anything like that. I can't imagine being in a flash flood or a hurricane where I actually lose stuff. Like, the worst that happened with the earthquake was maybe a few things fell over in the house, and I wasn't even in the house at the time. I was listening to classical music against my will in an orchestra thing. So, I mean, yeah, but yeah, it was hectic, and I saw a lot of it on the news and stuff, and I got a few warnings. So my heart really goes out to every single person who was affected by that. That's not a fun thing to happen to anyone. I don't wish that on anyone. Any hectic natural disasters. I really don't know how to end it with something like that at the end. There's a new Discord server. It's still definitely dead. Please join it. Please subscribe. I've got a big video thing that's coming, or I'm planning on doing soon. As soon as I get a new mouse, we're going to be doing something very special. I'm going to be doing a lot of editing. I'm going to be doing a lot of working on making that video look good. It's going to be the first good video ever since I started doing shorts. Don't take it for granted. There won't be that many of them. But if you do have anyone who was affected by Hurricane Ian or whatever, please send them a hug or a text. You don't have to say anything about me in it, but just send them, hey, how are you doing? I heard about Hurricane Ian. And then if you know them in real life, please give them a hug. I'm sure they're going through a lot. And I mean, if you know them in real life, chances are you are going through a lot as well. Stay safe, guys.